Right then, my last day in Germany today. I'm heading home. I've got training tonight, and that's my last involvement for this year's Euros. Been a busy one, in and out. But while we're here, let's have a look. 5 things to expect from Joshua Zirkzee. It seems like this transfer now is starting to close down. It seems like United are probably going to get their man. It doesn't seem like the potential competition we had from AC Milan seems to be fading away, and as I've said in a couple of videos now, I think you're looking at potential drama-free window for Manchester United, and if that's what Ineos bring, it's been needed for a long time. We have had so much noise, the Murta and Woodward eras will be defined by just the absolutely disgusting number of leaks that came out of Manchester United. And the one thing we can see so far from Ineos is that we don't get the same level of leaks. Yes, we kind of know what targets we've gone for, because when you publicly put a bid in, or maybe perhaps not publicly, obviously you've alerted agents, you've alerted opposition clubs, especially when there's another club that's had a bid in. This sort of stuff comes out. Like, yesterday the Jarrad Branthwaite bid went in second time and was rejected for a second time. I'm fairly happy about that. But yeah, that's where we're at. I think we're in a place where when bids are going in, obviously that's quite a formal kind of thing in football. I guess everybody kind of wants those to be public. If Everton want that to be public, Everton don't want the fact that United are bidding for Jarrad Branthwaite to go under the radar. They want to be like, we have rejected a bid from Manchester United. Like, I think there's a bit of a show to do that there. But anyway, so 5 things to expect from Joshua Zirkzee.
Just like Euro 2024 brings fans together across Europe, Surfshark keeps me connected securely from the UK to the stadiums of Germany. Do not miss a single moment of the action, no matter where you are, thanks to Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN that keeps your online identity safe by encrypting your data, keeping you safe from big companies and cyber criminals. With Surfshark, you get to change your IP address to travel virtually anywhere in the world. With 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, you can unblock sports streams and global Netflix libraries. Change your virtual location, bypass geo restrictions effortlessly, and access blocked websites with ease. Whether it's BBC iPlayer, ITV, or Netflix from abroad, Surfshark grants you the seamless access so you never miss any action. Experience uninterrupted streaming with clean web, shielding you from bothersome ads and malware for a carefree viewing experience. And the best part, one account covers you for all your devices. If you're ready to join Surfshark, use the code Howson, that is HOWSON, for an extra 4 months free at surfshark.deals/Howson. Your gateway to a worry-free online experience awaits. And remember, a 30-day money-back guarantee. There is absolutely nothing to lose. Experience the freedom and security you deserve with Surfshark. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description for this amazing discount.
Now, as we've already said, he is a different dynamic. From a player profile, he is totally different from what you get out of Rasmus Højlund. And I would urge anybody to go watch him, to go and have a look at that. His play style is closer to a Harry Kane, to a Firmino, or even a little bit like an Ivan Toney. His preference is to drop into the sort of pocket, the space in between the attack and midfield, and then combine with either the midfield itself or the wingers, which is, the up, back and through is quite a frequent, commonly used pattern in football, and he's a big part of that, a big fan of that. He gives you a lot more tactical possibilities than you get with Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund is a fast striker who's going to lead the line and hopefully try and get in the box. Zirkzee opens up opportunities, not just to replace Rasmus Højlund, but actually to play alongside Rasmus Højlund. I think United have to be tactically flexible. I think United are going to move to either a 3-1-6 or a 3-2-5 build-up, and that means 6 or 5 players in the back line, which means that you've got players that are pushing on very, very high. That creates a lot of opportunity for people to come in and fill in those gaps. it gives United more variational possibilities, which means, so I'll give you an example of this, right? If it doesn't always work this way, because some teams you know exactly how they're going to play. You might even know exactly what the starting 11 is going to be because they have a very defined starting 11. And sometimes it's very difficult to overcome what you think is maybe quite a basic tactic, but it's done to an excellent level. Maybe Barcelona would be a good example of that under Pep. You knew exactly what they were going to do, but they were so good at it, you couldn't really do anything about it. You just had to kind of try and deal with it. You knew the 11, you knew the system, but you couldn't really deal with it. Now, for the teams that aren't Pep's Barcelona, because, you know, let's be honest, it's in the upper echelon of teams that have ever played the game. It's a real benefit if you can go into a game and you can have like 2 or 3 or 4 ways of playing and teams that you can play. Because then the opposition can't spend all week working on your specific plan. They can spend Monday on plan A, Tuesday on plan B, Wednesday on plan C, and sometimes all of that information going into the player's head doesn't quite sink in as much as if you just hammer it home, hammer it home, hammer it home. You've got to fill this hole, you've got to track this runner, you've got to watch out for that particular player. Whereas they go, yeah, it could be him, it could be him. Players can't study in the same level of depth if you've got 2 or 3 options. So I like the options for the chance to be a little bit deceptive with what your starting 11 is going to do and who it might be even. His profile is also better suited to the likes of Garnacho and Rashford because they attack spaces that he creates. And that's a real thing, is you get people occupying the same kind of space, you get a lack of productivity out of both people when they do that. He is a pass-first forward. He's going to look to try and create rather than looking to get on the end of it himself. And we spoke about this several times. I sort of picked a winger as the person that I would prefer to create because we've got Rasmus Højlund and I'm thinking, you know, this guy's coming off the pitch without any shots ever. Like, if we can find someone whose idea is to create first in a wide area, he ends up scoring more. And actually, if everyone thinks you're going to pass, you as a winger end up scoring more because they worry less about you and more about where your pass is going to go. But with the right runs and the right players around him, I would expect Joshua Zirkzee to have some high assist numbers. And then maybe this is where United have gone in a different direction than the one that I expected them to. Maybe they go, yeah, we'll deal with the creativity centrally. Maybe we're going to see Bruno Fernandes move back alongside Kobe Mainoo. It's a very offensive midfield if that's the case. Joshua Zirkzee in front of them. Maybe that's why you're seeing United maybe looking towards a more solid defensive line. Because you're going to look to try and do that on the transition. I don't know. Or maybe it's just plan B. Also, it's going to lessen the creative burden on the likes of Bruno Fernandes. And again, when you know Bruno Fernandes is your number one outlet, you can put defence, like you can sit in a changing room and go, okay, lads, we stop Bruno Fernandes playing, you're going to stop United scoring, they've got no other ways to create. And the lads go, cool, I know exactly every single word of that instruction that you've just given me. And then they can deal with Bruno Fernandes. Whereas if, you know, I spoke about this with Manchester City, you go, right, okay, we're going to stop Kevin De Bruyne. We're going to stop Kevin De Bruyne. And then, obviously, last season, not this season, you go, okay, Gundogan's popping up with goals and assists. What are we going to do with that? All right, okay, we'll stop Kevin De Bruyne. We'll stop Gundogan. Right, okay. And then Bernardo Silva. Okay, so we're going to stop Kevin De Bruyne. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that many people that you need to deal with. You end up dealing with none of them. And United at the moment, very, very obvious who's going to create the chances. And very, very obvious United aren't going to create a lot of them. So you have to have those different options. And then you'll be like, oh, Bruno suddenly played better this year. Someone took a marker away from him. And then physicality. He's an absolute unit, right? He's 6'4". He has all the physicality where you'd expect him to really excel in the Premier League. He could become a bit of a dominator in the box. That helps with the hold-up and the link play that you're going to ask from him. It would mean that your defenders, if they want to go toe-to-toe and get tight with him, are going to be a problem. He is a powerful and quick runner as well when he gets a bit of a head of steam up. And it could be a real big asset in countering those high-up man presses. playing the overpass into his feet. When United are getting pressed when we're playing out, having someone with that sort of presence as the focal point, because he's going to be able to, like, Mark Hughes-esque hold off a defence, play somebody in, it could be an absolute treat for us. Room to grow. So the fact that there's potential in the signing, I think this is what Ineos are all about, to be honest with you. The fact that there's a lot of potential in what is a relatively cheap signing, I think, is what excites them. He's got room to grow because, you know, he's not an instinctive goal scorer, so he's got the opportunity to become more prolific. His physique and stature isn't always utilised enough. You know, it takes players a long time to utilise their body and to know how they can use it. And with a structure, it could be one of those signings that we look back on and go, yeah, that was very much an Ineos sort of signing of a player that maybe wasn't polished enough to be a starter for Manchester United the day we signed him, but we created him into something else. And you know, he isn't the finished article, but I think he's a smart pickup. I think he's a good player with good potentials, and he's got good traits now with the potential to move into even better traits. And then finally, you know, this hasn't been finalised yet, but Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud supposedly has already been in contact and communication with Zirkzee. You can't really get many better coaches. I mean, Ruud was in a seriously elite category when it came to being a striker, and he had essentially like no standout traits really, but he was unbelievable. But he wasn't like the quickest. He wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the strongest. So it's his movement and his brain which is what made him the elite clinical striker he was. So that excites me because, look, if let's say Akinfenwa was like the best striker in the world, how does Akinfenwa teach another striker to be Akinfenwa? He can't. He's like, yeah, basically you just need to be absolutely insanely jacked. Can you do that? Whereas if it's someone goes, these are the runs and this is why you make those runs, that is when someone's going to learn, and that is when someone's going to be able to teach it and pass it on. You know, they've got the national connection, so there's probably some level of respect in the first place anyway. But, you know, Van Nistelrooy specialised in a lot of the attributes that Zirkzee can improve on, and it is improvable stuff as well. He could really help Zirkzee put it together. And Ruud seems like he's got the thirst of being on the training ground with his boots on, helping people. So I'm very excited for that potential connection, which does sound like it's about to come off, doesn't it? But yeah, that's 5 things to expect from Joshua Zirkzee. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.